So, pet peeves this week. I'll start with Novak.
Yeah, so my pet peeve is something I talked about a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned it, but not as a pet peeve, and then I did talk a little bit about it today, and that is the role of the sideline reporter and what it has become. And I'm going to give you two examples that I heard this week, and it's annoying the crap out of me. But so college and pro. College. So usually in college, these sideline reporters are like people at the beginning of their career. They're like 22, 23, and they feel the need to get their knowledge out in the 10 seconds they get with the coach as they're running off of the field, who run away from them like running away from a rabid dog. Like they're running away. Don't stop me.
Yes.
Then the sideline reporter grabs them, right? And he or she, usually she, candidly, is looking at it and she's going, your quarterback is 22 for 23 for 275 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. He's got 3 receptions or 3, completions to a guy who's undrafted, walk-on from Kenosha, Wisconsin, who majors in anthropology. How is he playing today? And meanwhile, the coach is looking at her going, shut up and ask me the question already. So the coach is like, he's playing great. We'll see how he does in the second half. And he runs off. Back to you, Joe, or whatever. Then the NFL, I heard this in the Bills-Dolphins game, and this is not what she said, but it was along these lines, right? They go to Tracy Wolfson, I think it was. Jim's like, Tracy, report from the sideline after halftime. Jim, I spoke to, what's his name? Sean McDermott coming out of the halftime, and he told me that if he feels that if the Bills score more points than the Dolphins, that they have a very good chance of winning this game. But if the Dolphins come out in the second half and turn it around and they score more points than the Bills, that he thinks that they're going to win. Back to you, Jim. Thank you, Tracy, for that incredible journalism. I mean, that's not what she said, but it was like so mindless. These coaches aren't going to give these people anything. The sideline reporters are good for 2 things. One, update on injuries, which when Rodgers was injured, they wouldn't talk. They're good for injury reports, and they're good for like there's a dust up on the sideline or something. Like they're good for that. Other than that, shut up. Don't ask the coaches anything.
I saw one in the Georgia Auburn game where they stopped Kirby Smart coming in, and he's like, the reporter says, "What do you think about the terrible start that your team's having?" He looked there, he's like, "I don't think it's terrible. We're starting a little slow here, but we'll get it going."
Yeah. Is there any sideline reporter has got to be the most useless job in the world. Let's face it, it's there for eye candy. Novak alluded to it. I'll say it. It's there so they can put a hot chick on TV. That's what the sideline reporter is there for. And it just, you guys just nailed it. Just inane questions, talking to coaches who don't want to be talked to, and they're not gonna ever say anything. Was it an NFL or a college game this week where actually like midway through the second quarter they were talking to the coaches on the sideline?
It was the Giants game. They were talking to Pete Carroll right after a big play. They went to him.
That's getting. I hated the halftime thing. This is in the middle of the game. This is getting, another case of the NFL, because the NFL has to be telling the coaches, you have got to do this or there's a giant fine, because there's no other way they would flip and agree to it. There's no other way.
So you're saying the sideline reporters that flipped from a guy wearing isotoner gloves to eye candy in the last 20 years?
They're eye candy. They're there for injuries and weather, because for some reason you have to be on the sideline to talk about injuries and weather.
Do we really even need the eye candy? It's fine, but no. I'm watching anyway. You got me. I'm watching the game. I really don't even need it.
Yeah.
It's like when Jim Belushi in About Last Night, I'm going back to an 85 romantic rom-com. We're like, recreational fucking space. When you're walking around like with chicks walking around in like shorts and I don't need to see this at the ball field. Save that for like the strip club and the bar and the nightclubs, like recreational space. I'm at a sporting event. I don't need to see this. Keep worlds colliding. Kramer and Costanza. That's worlds colliding. Give me football. When I want to see eye candy, I'll do that at a different time.
Yeah, they had one good one, in my opinion, who did a great job, and she seemed very knowledgeable about sports. And apparently Younger and Hotter came along and they booted Pam Oliver out of there. She was pretty good.
I think Melissa Stark is decent, but then she had to do this stupid Taylor Swift thing.
Cardone